Today, we're going to be talking about 5 common challenges that many people face, whether you are just starting your coaching business or you're even established. What's key is, how do you navigate through those challenges? What tools do you have in your toolbox to overcome these challenges? So what I'm hoping for is that my experience can help you change your way of thinking, shift your perspective, and also be better equipped when these challenges come your way. The first common challenge is building an audience. When we are starting our business, you're just so excited. You're looking forward to helping people in your zone of genius, and also get paid possibly more than what you would get paid at a regular 9-to-5 or traditional career. So when I first started my business, I realized pretty early on that I did not know anyone. I did not have connections with anyone on the online space. It made it difficult for me to sell my coaching package. So I'm going to share exactly what I did and still do to this very day to build an audience. First thing that I did that really skyrocketed my business, and I did not start doing this until 5 years after I started my business, because I allowed fear to consume me and a lot of mental chatter to be so loud that it paralyzed me and literally stopped me from doing this one thing. This one thing is strategic partnerships. Now, what I mean by this is that you're able to connect with other people who are either in your niche or outside of your niche, or platforms like big companies, basically where your best fit client or customer is already in abundance. They're already there. So during the early stages of my business, I didn't realize how powerful strategic partnerships were until I actually did it. In 2013, I decided to organize and host my very first online conference. It works, and it works well. Successful entrepreneurs know and leverage the power of collaboration, also known as strategic partnership. It's easier for you to hit a goal when you're not doing it by yourself. Leveraging strategic partnerships, my business growth was faster than the 5 years of me doing business by myself. Put that in perspective. 5 years of doing things all by myself versus 90 days and hitting my goals faster. Like, it blew me away. So ever since that experience, I've always made sure that collaboration or strategic partnerships is baked in to the foundation of my business. Think about like how you could leverage strategic partnerships online and offline, or online or offline, whatever you like. Something that is literally going to help you expand your network, something that's going to help you build the momentum quickly in your business in a very authentic and organic way. And also another layer on top of this, and I also have 2 YouTube videos that I'll leave in the comments that goes over strategic partnerships, like in more detail. Another thing that was amazing about the strategic partnership is that it helped me grow my email list. It helped me position myself as an expert. It helped me enroll clients and customers. And these were new people coming into my world from the online conference. Find a way to where you're going to make this work for you so you can build an audience, because without an audience, it's very difficult to sell your products or services. It's very difficult for you to build a business for the long term. Another thing that I do is I host some type of free training, some type of free interactive training. I prefer doing live trainings because I'm able to interact with the people who are attending. That way I can help them. It's like kind of a mini coaching session. I'm able to connect with those people. Now, I do have free trainings that are recorded. Now, in the early stages of my business, I hosted like a webinar every single week. Stay with me here because that might seem like a lot for some of you, because I know it seemed like a lot for me until I realized there's a way that I could do it to where it would be easy. So every single week, I would just host the exact same webinar. Sometimes I change up, tweak the title, kind of test it out, but the same content, the same outline was the same. The beauty of you doing this is that you're able to communicate your message better every time you do this. You become masterful at messaging, masterful at being able to call in your dream clients or customers because you've been doing the reps. You've been practicing every single week. And the reason why I did it every single week, because I'm still an introvert, but I was a big time introvert. I was terrified to do video. Matter of fact, I didn't even do video. I would just have like a slide presentation and no one saw my face because I was just so resistant and scared of doing video. So the next best thing that I did was to have a slide presentation, and every single week I would practice that presentation, whether people showed up or not. Remember, we got to show up for ourselves first before anybody will show up for us. And this also helps you cultivate a solid belief that anything that you're communicating is going to land or connect with your best fit client or customer. And it's going to make it easier for you to enroll them into whatever you have to offer. So the way that I looked at it during the early stages is that this was a way for me to get better at what I was doing, to get better at marketing and sales, getting better at communicating my message, getting better at actively selling. So I'm not saying that you need to do this in the exact way that I'm doing it. Matter of fact, I recommend you do it in a way that's going to work for you right now, right? So like how I did things back in 2008, totally different from how I do things today, but the foundations are still the same. I still do free trainings, and I still do strategic partnerships, and that is baked in to the foundational structure of my business because it works. I never have to worry about where my next client or customer is coming from. So every successful business has an audience. So you want to make sure you have that too. Okay, any questions before I move on to the second challenge? Let me know. And for my replay viewers, let me know if you have any questions or want feedback, anything, right? Anything goes with this episode. All right. Whew. No. Okay. So the next common challenge is establishing credibility. Sorry, it's hard for me to talk. I recently got oral surgery, so my tongue's still trying to work things out. Okay. All right. So establishing credibility is something that most new entrepreneurs face during the early stages. For me personally, I didn't know anyone who was an entrepreneur in my life when I started my business. I was raised in a household to get an education, find a career, stay in that career until you retired. And most of us are taught this in the United States of America. So I didn't even think being an entrepreneur was even an option for me, right? And I have a whole story around like how I got started. I'm not going to go over that today. But if you're not familiar with how I got started, quick cliff notes is that I ended up getting really, really sick to the point of almost dying. And at that time, I had a great career that I could actually retire from. And I wasn't able to work. I had to be on bed rest for almost a year. You're going to take my phone? Yeah. All right. My little one just came in here. So I was on bed rest for almost a year, which meant I couldn't work a traditional job. It was either me work a traditional job and risk dying or staying at home and healing my body. It took me almost a year to recover. So during that time, I knew I needed to do something. So I started looking online for online jobs, not a business opportunity, a job. So that's basically where my journey started. So I didn't know anyone in my sphere of influence who was an entrepreneur. So because of this, I didn't have any credibility at all. And when you don't have a proven track record, it can cause a challenge. whether it's within your way of thinking or the way that people perceive you when you are showing up online, right? So a great way that I overcame this challenge quickly, it goes back to the first common challenge, which building an audience. So you can overcome this challenge by doing three things. The first thing that I did, I made sure that I was offering some type of free interactive training. The second thing that I did, I started putting myself out there and connecting with other entrepreneurs and getting featured on their podcast. Another thing that I did was my preferred method of communicating is the written word. So I looked for online publishing sites to see if I could submit my work. So I started with the Huffington Post. I was a contributor for the Huffington Post. I also was contributing my content on other blog forums. Like, things are really different today, right? So there are even more places that you can share your content, but I don't use publication platforms anymore. I did back then, but it still works. It's still very effective. So if that's something that you would like to do to build credibility, it still works. What I do now is that I have my podcast, right? So I actually bring on other entrepreneurs. I also have to make sure that every single month I'm being featured somewhere. So that could be podcast, that could be an online summit or conference. And if you're wondering, like, how do you even get into that? Well, you got it easy today, right? Like 2008, this wasn't as easy to do. 2008, I remember like just having to search for hours trying to find places where I could publish my content and also, connecting with other entrepreneurs. Even though I did use Facebook to start connecting with people, but it took a long time, right? So the benefit that you have today, the advantage that you have today is you can easily get featured on podcasts because there are an abundance of Facebook groups that are actively that have been intentionally created for podcasters to connect with potential guests. One of the groups that I'm a part of is Be a Guest, and another one, I can't think of the other one, but what you can do is just go to Facebook and type in the search Facebook groups podcast guest, Facebook groups speakers, right? And a list of groups are going to come down. Now, I think the thing that took the longest was me trying to make sure I found a group where it would be a good match for me. So it just really depends on your niche. Now, the third way to build credibility is, strategic partnerships, like organizing something to where you are bringing other experts along the way. I'm on a call right now. Yeah, it's okay. Here you go, Jordan. And I'll be editing this part out later after I'm done with this live stream. Okay, so 3 things to build credibility. The first one is host a regular training. It could be once a month. It could be once a week. It could be every other week, but you want to make sure that you commit to something. What works for me or work for me may not work for you. It just really depends on your capacity right now. And the best thing that you can do is just really like plan out the next 90 days. Like, how many times will you offer free training, and how can you make this as easy as possible to do? What I have witnessed from a lot of people who end up coming to work with me is they overcomplicate all of this. Okay. All of this. So you want to make this as easy as possible, because once you start doing the thing, it'll make it easier for you to have more clarity on how you want to move forward. So instead of staying in the planning stage, just go ahead and make a plan and execute that plan and see what happens. Like, speed is going to help you achieve your goals faster. with me, one of the challenges that I had when it came to establishing my credibility, I let my mind get in the way. Yeah, I had thoughts and beliefs and ideas that did not serve me, that contributed to me procrastinating and not going for the things that I really wanted to do. So the best thing that really helped me was working on my mindset, developing new thoughts that actually served me, and just taking action, right? So those are the three things right there. Another thing that you can do to establish credibility, and I do this every now and then, but in the beginning stages, I would offer some type of free consult, like a 15-minute one. I tried my best not to go over that. And the reason why I did this to build credibility, because not only was I able to learn more about my best fit client or customer, but I was able to extract data from them to better understand how I could not only help my target audience, but also use that information in a way to where I could collect testimonials and share them, and also to help me create better content that resonated with my best fit client or customer. I don't do this today. Like anytime that I have a private session with someone, they've already enrolled into my offer. So I'm not saying I never do free consults. I will do them every now and then, but for the most part, I don't do them anymore. And if you're wondering, like, do you have to do that? No, you don't have to do that, but it's okay, baby. You don't have to do that, but I would recommend you do it, because it allows you to have conversations with people and be able to help people and to collect testimonials, because that's another way that you are able to establish your credibility. So that's something for you to think about. It was really, really helpful for me. Let me see here. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions. Do not be shy. Don't hesitate to ask me questions at all. I know I'm kind of going through this quickly. All right. The third common challenge, and you can experience this whether you are in the beginning stages or have been established for a while, is pricing your product or service. I know during the beginning stages, like looking back, I was definitely undercharging, but at the same time, I mean, it's what I was able to, if I did not undercharge, there would be no way that I would be like where I am right now when it comes to charging. The thing that no one taught me, because I did not invest in a coach or mentor during the early stages of my business, which is one of my biggest regrets, because I probably would have been able to move a lot quicker and got my results faster. Because like I mentioned, it wasn't until 5 years after I started my business that I really started seeing incredible results. And it was directly tied to me investing in a mentor. Those previous 5 years, it was all self-learn, a lot of studying, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. So no, I didn't know how to properly package offers, especially during the early stages, because I was confusing. Not even confusing. I wasn't aware that it's not about the price. It's about what value you can bring to the table, the type of results that you deliver. That's really what determines the pricing of your services or product, right? So, for example, my one-on-one is $20,000 a year. Right? So it's high level one-on-one for $20,000 a year. Now that might be a sticker shock for some people, but you have to realize, like, if you're helping people get specific results that's going to help them save money, time, or help them get whatever they want, like, they're willing to pay for it, especially if it's a priority. So for any of my clients that come to work with me one-on-one, I'm going to be able to help them design a high converting marketing and sales process that's going to help them get to 5 figures a month on repeat. So if I can help my client who invested $20,000, if I can help them earn 6 figures, at least within a 2-year period, I think that $20,000 investment is worth it, because I've equipped them with something that's going to, or I've equipped them with knowledge that's going to help them get that return on investment 20-fold, 40-fold. So think about that. Think about the thing that you're offering. How is it going to benefit that person? I have a client that helps people in their relationships. She's an intimacy coach. So she helps her clients have better sex, right? And she was definitely undervaluing, her services, because she was just looking at how much she was willing to charge. She was only looking at like what other people were charging, which I really don't think you should be you can look at what other people are charging, but you want to make sure that you're focusing on the results that you can give your best fit client or customer, and how much is that going to be to them. So for example, with this intimacy coach, the results that she helped her clients get was, not only are they having better sex, the ripple effect of them having better sex is that prevents the husband from cheating. That prevents the wife from cheating. That prevents them from getting a divorce. Divorces are expensive, and it can also cause emotional trauma, especially if you have kids. Divorces, somebody has to sell a house, or somebody has to move to another apartment. Some men have to pay for 2 houses and 2 families, or vice versa. So the cost of them not getting her services, getting her help, would cost way more than them investing. And I don't remember what her price was, but it was I think it may have been like $30,000, maybe even more by now. But the thing is that she helped them not only have great sex, but also have a better bond, be able to prevent infidelity, being able to prevent divorce. They're able to be happier, right? They're able to have a better relationships with their kids if they have kids, because they as a couple are happier. So think about the ripple effect that your product or service is going to give your best fit client or customer beyond the obvious. Beyond the obvious. So during the early stages of my business, I had no idea how to even price in value. It took a lot of trial and error for me to figure this out. Matter of fact, I'll be doing a future live stream on how to understand the value of your offer. Let me know if that's something that you would like to, if you'd like me to go over that, because I could go over that next week. If that's something that you're interested in, is like knowing how to understand the value of your offer. That way you know if you're undercharging or not. Most likely you're undercharging. So this is about you not only hitting your income goal, but making sure that your business is sustainable for the long term. Because if you're undercharging, it's going to be very stressful for you to not only keep your business in operation, but it's also going to affect your personal life. So I'm all about you designing a low volume, high value business. So what that means is that you don't need a lot of volume to hit your income goal, right? I work with 5 clients a year, one-on-one clients a year, to hit my target of 6 figures. So working with, working with 5 people a year, That's so much better than trying to find 50 clients a year at $2,000. I had to do the math in my head real quick. So like, to think about that. It's easier to get 5 people, to me, it's easier to get 5 people than 50 people, right? So I prefer low volume because I used to be all about high volume, and that ended up burning me out to where I took 2 years off away from my business. And that happened back in 2013. So when I came back, I had to rearrange my business model and create a low volume, high value business. So that's something I want you to think about. If that's something that you want, if you want low volume to where you're not having to work with a ton of clients, or you need a ton of customers to hit your monthly goal, definitely keep attending these live streams every week, because everything that I'm sharing with you is teaching you how to build a low volume, high value business. Most of the stuff that you see online is about the volume, and that's how a lot of people burn out. If you can package up something that's going to give people immense value and it's a priority for them, it'll be easier for you to hit your money goals. Now, another thing about pricing before I move on, I have an example where I know I am underpricing. Like, I am doing this intentionally because I recently opened up a membership. It's a monthly membership. It's Unleash Your Ambition Collective. Now, this monthly membership, I know, is just ridiculously low, right? Especially for the value that I bring to the table. And also, the membership is not a typical membership. This membership is high touch. This membership, I don't have, hundreds of people stuffed into it to where I don't know the person's name. I don't know what their unique experiences are, right? I didn't want that type of membership, but I knew that I needed to validate that offer. So what I'm doing right now, I'm ridiculously undercharging and over delivering for my membership. Right now, my membership is $197 a month, but this membership could easily be $1,000 a month. I connect with each of the members. I know them by name. I'm able to help them problem solve every single week on the things that are specific to them. Inside the membership, I do not give them information that's not relevant to what's going on with them right now. So it's very laser focused. So I'm undercharging this because, number one, it's a new membership. Number two, I'm still building things on the back end, right? I'm still building things on the back end, and I'm also making sure that I over deliver, because this is a new offer that I will be offering for the next couple of years at least. So maybe there's something that you want to package up and you haven't validated it yet. And you're willing to take a price cut until you can work out the kinks, right? This is what I did with the collective, because I knew it was something that I wanted to do, because I love a group setting because of how powerful it is to be connected with other people. Being in a group setting, there is a synergy that happens, and people are able to support each other in there, and everybody knows each other's names and knows what's going on. So it's powerful stuff. So maybe you want to just validate. You can do that. But what I would recommend, you continue to increase your prices. For example, with my collective, I started early enrollment at $33 a month. So I did limit how long I made this offer available. So I got my first few people in at that. And also I added a bonus on top of that, which is a one-on-one. That way I could really learn about them and what their goals are and what they want to get out of the collective. This time that I'm promoting the collective, because I want 2 more people in there, it's $77. So it's still under the $197 a month, right? It's an incentive. I want the action takers to get in, because I know once they get in, I'm going to blow them away. I'm going to give them exactly not only what they want, but what they need in order to get the results that they want. So next month, when I open up enrollment, if all the spots haven't been filled yet, I'm going to provide another incentive and increase the price point one more time. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions about price points. Nope. Okay. Last thing is balancing your workload. I'm pretty sure you just heard me mention, well, not just heard, but I'm sure you heard me talk about I burned myself out. Back in 2013, I burned myself out because I did not have harmony between my personal life and my business. And when I burned myself out so bad that it took me 2 years, 2 years to be able to feel like myself again. Today, what I do, I have non-negotiables, and I also recommend my clients have non-negotiables when it comes to their time off. So the way that I love to have my schedule mapped out is that I have my non-negotiable days off. No matter what's going on in my business, I take Sundays off, Wednesdays off, Saturdays off. And I take a week off every month. Now, I did not start there because in 2017, I had my non-negotiables, but my days off were like the weekends, like Saturday and Sunday. And that was it. And I made sure I committed to that. And then once I had rhythm with that and was not working and making sure that I was present with my family and taking care of myself, then I started creating more non-negotiables. So you want to make sure that you have clear boundaries with yourself and your business. That way, you give yourself time to recuperate. You give yourself time to be present with your loved ones. You give yourself time to think, right? Instead of like just going and going. One thing that has been so powerful with me with taking time off, my non-negotiable time off, it's helped me build my business faster. It's helped me simplify my business even more. That's something to think about. It's really been impactful. In the beginning stages, I did not do that. I didn't have any boundaries or anything. I was just like focused on getting the results that I wanted. Matter of fact, I was working like 80 hours a week, which is ridiculous. Now I work 20 hours a week, 4 hours a day, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And that works great for me so far, right? Okay. Last thing is staying motivated. Last common challenge is staying motivated. There are going to be some days where you don't want to work. There are going to be some days where you get discouraged. There are going to be some days where you want to throw in the towel. And the reason why I know this is because that is me. That's me. Even to this day, right? Even when I love what I do and I couldn't imagine doing anything else, I still get unmotivated. What helps me get back into that mode, I give myself a break. I don't judge myself about it. I know that it will pass. And then I also need to think about, is what I'm doing, are the things that I'm doing in my day or past week, like I'll take a look and see, why do I not feel motivated, right? And it could just be hormonal, right? And if it's hormonal, then I give myself the space to rest. I cut myself some slack. Now, if I'm feeling unmotivated because maybe I don't feel aligned with the things that I'm doing, then I make the necessary tweaks. But then also I could feel unmotivated because I'm just having a bad day. So what I like to do is I have a list of things that make me feel good. And I will pull out that list, especially if I'm unmotivated, and at least do 2 of those things on that list. And it's just really going to depend on what I want to do that day. Like some days when I feel unmotivated, I will do Pilates, or I will go for a walk, or I will take a nap, or I will bake something in the kitchen, or I will watch a funny movie. Another thing that I do is I take a look at my vision for my business and my life, because it's a reminder for me to stay on track. But I do cut myself some slack. I don't judge myself. So reminding yourself of your ultimate goals, and also giving yourself space to see like what is going on with you, what's going on with your way of thinking. Are there actions that you're taking that are not aligned with you, that is contributing to you not being motivated? Or is it just hormonal? Maybe you're just having a season, you're having a moment, right? You're having a moment. And if you are, what can you do to take care of yourself? What can you do to help you shift your energy? Yeah. And it's really been great. And another thing is like being around supportive people. This is another reason why I opened up the collective, is because one of the common challenges for anyone, no matter at what level they're playing at, is that when you're going through challenges, you don't want to isolate yourself at all. And me personally, I have a tendency to do that when I'm feeling unmotivated. So I engineer supportive communities, a supportive network of people to support me, right? Especially when I'm feeling unmotivated, and I do the same for them. So that's what's helped me. So those are the 5 challenges. Thank you so much for being here. If you're watching this still, I appreciate you. This video, this whole weekly live stream is actually brought to you by the Unleash Your Ambition Collective. And details about it, I'll put them in the comments below. So as a recap, the first common challenge is building an audience. The second challenge is establishing credibility. The third challenge is pricing your services. The fourth challenge is balancing your workload. And the fifth challenge is staying motivated. So hopefully my experience has shined the light on some things that you can do whenever you are faced with these challenges, because you will face them. Hopefully what I shared with you will help you better be equipped to navigate through those challenges. If you're wanting to learn more about strategic partnerships in detail, watch this video right here. All right, that is it. Thank you so much.